With over 336 million active users worldwide as of the first quarter of 2018, Twitter is one of the largest and most far-reaching social media platforms today. Most of us have a Twitter account or know someone with one, and its growth is not stopping. The number of US Twitter users is projected to surpass 70 million in 2020. With the growth of Twitter and social media and the rise in the world today, I decided to create a PSA on the best practices to put into use for your own Twitter account. First things first is to set up your account. Like the song Mr. Brightside by the Killers, it starts with a kiss. Keep it simple, stupid. I'm talking about your Twitter handle, of course. Nothing is worse than an overly complicated Twitter handle. You want to try to make it as easy as possible for users to look you up. Try to avoid using numbers, special characters, or other overly complicated names for your handle. Here are a few examples of good and bad Twitter handles. First, let's look at NBA insider and sports columnist Adrian Wojnarowski. Even with a last name that looks like a bad hand in the game of Scrabble, he can still keep his Twitter handle easy to find with @WojESPN. An example of a bad Twitter handle comes from the 2015 Home Run Derby winner, two-time All-Star and third baseman of the New York Mets, Todd Frazier. With a Twitter handle @FlavorPhrase21, not only does he break every cardinal rule of Twitter handles, but also sneaks in a dated and silly reference to Public Enemy's hype man Flavor Flav. Though the number 21 is Todd Frazier's on-field number, I doubt the Twitter handles @FlavorPhrase1 through 20 were already taken. Next thing you want to do to set up your Twitter account is to have an effective bio. You should write a clear description of yourself. A good example of this is that of Dave Matter from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Another thing you can do is pin a tweet. Pinned tweets are tweets that stay static on the top of your profile. When people visit your profile, it will be the first thing they see. This means that it will have high engagement and views. I would reserve this for tweets which you want their most eyes to see. You can include a link to a website you want to promote, other social media accounts of yours, or tweets you want everyone to see. An example of this is breaking news by the Cardinals they want their followers to know about. The final part of setting up your account is to start following some people. You want to follow accounts you're interested in. However, before deciding to follow someone, be sure to check out their tweets first. Make sure they do not spam tweets or tweet out boring and uninteresting stuff. You don't want your timeline cluttered with tweets you don't want to see. And finally, don't follow everyone who follows you. An example, if a random account with over 7,000 followers follows you, they are probably just fishing for followers. These accounts will probably not add anything of interest to your timeline. The next portion we'll be talking about is about posting tweets. The first thing you need to know about writing a tweet is to keep it short and concise. You do not want your tweets to drone on and lose focus on what you're trying to get out. Keep tweets focused on one specific message rather than long and droning on. Try to aim for around 100 characters. It is also shown that shorter tweets generate more engagement. Tweets with visuals add personality and leads to higher engagement. Studies done by Twitter show that people are 3 times more likely to engage with a tweet that contains videos and photos. If you can't decide what picture to post, Twitter allows you to post up to 4 pictures per tweet. Incorporate relevant hashtags. This helps expand your reach and tap into relevant conversations. Hashtags allow you to identify with popular and cultural events. Best practice is to use not more than 2 hashtags per tweet. Another way to effectively use hashtags is to type them in Pascal case, which is to capitalize the beginning of every new word so it's easier to read. The last portion we'll be talking about is reading tweets in your Twitter timeline. If you're getting lost in the ocean of tweets that is Twitter, then lists will help you organize and categorize your timeline. Lists organize the people you are following into easy-to-follow groups based on categories. An example would be to add sports commentators and analysts into a list called Sports to keep up on what happened at the game last night. There is also a program called Twit List Manager, which makes the process of creating lists much easier. Twitlist Manager isn't the only third-party application which helps with Twitter. One of the most popular is Tweetbot, which is an award-winning client for iOS and Mac. Tweetbot helps create lists and curate your timeline, so it's easier to filter the content you want to see. And with that, that brings us to the end of my PSA on best Twitter practices. I hope that you find this helpful and put the information I have shared with you into use with your own accounts.